Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now we're going to do something very interesting for this week. We are going to look at an IPO company, a newly IPO company, or they're just about to IPO. But the fun thing we're going to do is we're only going to do it in under 15 minutes. The reason we do this is that we want to show you how much you can actually gather in terms of information and insights in just 15 minutes. Now we did cheat a little bit because we needed to bring up the source. We do not want for you to look at us searching up for all these documents before we go. So anyway, let's start.
Before we start, let's hit the timer first.
Yes, so
we can
15
start
minutes.
15 minutes. Let's start now.
All right. So let's start with what is the company that we'll be looking at today.
Yeah, it's Prolintas Infra Business Trust, Berhad. Very long name. And it's the first trust that actually is going IPO in Malaysia. So we never have this infra business trust before. We are always dealing with REITs. So this is one of its kind.
So it's like a REIT, but our highways, you can say infrastructure.
Correct. But there's some sort of like differences between REITs and this infra business trust. So REITs, they have to pay out from their profit.
80%.
About 90%. For the profit after tax. So what's different is that they actually don't have a dividend policy. And they are actually paying the dividend out from their operating cash flow.
Okay.
So it's a totally different kind of like treatment lah. And also, they don't have any dividend policy, but they did mention that they will try to pay like at least 90% from their operating cash flow.
Right on the get-go, I think this is already a good thing to invest in if you always complain about toll.
Yeah, correct, exactly. Yeah.
So later we'll talk about the dividend policy and also the yield. But let's move on.
Yeah.
So here is the timetable.
Yes.
For those of you who are wondering. So the opening, it has already opened, right? The 6th of March. We are recording this on the 11th. And
it's closing on the 12th.
Yeah, which is by the time you watch this, it's probably close today. Yeah. So sorry. But yeah.
But I doubt the share price would really move much also because this is a REIT type business.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But they'll be listing in the end of the month at the 25th.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Yeah. So so what we usually look at is this table of content so that we can know what sort of information you want to know about this company. So that's your risk factor, business and everything. But we're not going to go through everything. We just want to quickly go through because it's a 15 minutes analysis.
We have a timer.
Yes. This is some of the acronyms if you want to know what is this definition.
Okay, tell me where you want to stop. All right.
Okay, I think we can stop somewhere.
Yeah, so this is one thing that's really useful, which is to always start off looking at what they do as a business.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So this one is nothing. This one is just their IPO. Okay, this is an overview on their corporate structure. So you can see that who owns Prolintas Infrastructure. There's your holdings, unit, distribution, and what they own is basically these 4 highways. Akle, GCE is your Guthrie, LKSA, and also Silk Highway. It's not in their business yet. We still haven't seen their business. This is their distribution, if I'm not mistaken, over here. Yeah, so you can see that they have no dividend policy. It's totally different from REITs, but they are trying to pay about 90%. This is based on the management or analyst briefing that I've attended, and they mentioned about that.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the agreements part over here. So you can see that they have 4 highways, and they have this date of concession agreement from 1996 to up to like 2062.
Wow.
And they did some of these refinancing with certain banks, which is Bank Pembangunan, and the reason why they did a refinancing is to reduce their interest rate, and also to reduce toll rate also in the next 3 years. And this is also to help government because basically what they're doing right now is going to save the government about 52 billion in terms of compensation because. With the longer concession, is basically just giving them more time to collect the tolls. So that's helping the government, helping the business, helping the banks and whatnot. So it's a win-win-win situation. Okay,
so they can see approximately 32 years long-term visibility of cash flows.
Yes, correct. So it's a very long contract, and basically whoever use or pass by this toll, right, the mentioned toll, and that's how they make money lah.
So you can always see here some of the reasons why they think it's going to do well, right? For example, they're in the Klang Valley, keyword, millions of road users, and population growth, development of townships, things like that.
Yes, correct. Okay. So, but this is just like a highlight, a very brief highlight on their competitive advantage. The risk is basically your concession agreement. And if let's say they don't maintain the route well, then there's also a risk, like nobody wants to go to that highway or use that toll. But yeah, so it's a very, very, you can like, common sense, you can kind of think of what is the risk already because you are a road user, right? If let's say you drive every day, you know like certain areas, for example, if you pass by Rawang, you pass by Bukit Juluntung, all those places, then you kind of know the highway and the traffic and whatnot.
Yeah, so okay, where do we go next?
Okay, so this is basically all the acquisition fees, nothing much. Okay, this is IPO. Okay, this is where you can get how they derive the IPO price. So retail, you're going to get 95 cents over here.
Yep.
Yeah, 95 cents per unit. And if you calculate 95 cents times your number of outstanding share, right, you get about like a 1.15 billion market cap, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah, so you can go, let's see, go down here. This is basically just if you want to know what is the market cap, who's the shareholders, then you can go, but we are not going to go through this. And actually, when we're researching also, we don't really go through this a lot also. It's more on the business side of things.
This is administration.
Yes,
so
correct.
Retail price, so again, they have the...
use of proceeds. Okay, so this is interesting because they don't raise money from the shareholders. This is just purely just for them to lease and maybe to market their company lah.
So you see the most expensive one, the professional fee, so this is the listing expenses.
Correct, and
probably.
It's not going to be raised for this. They're actually going to use their own internal generated fund to pay for this listing fee.
Not bad.
That's about it for their IPO.
Underwriting, okay. Anything else? Let's see.
You can't even go to the business side of things.
Yeah,
this is a very long IPO.
See, guys, this is what we do for you guys. We scroll through all this every time we do an IPO video, so you don't have to scroll through.
Okay, that's the risk factor.
So risk factors are not bad. I think. People tend to think that risk factors is just like legalese, so it's just a lot of legal speak, which is true, but it's important to also read the risk factors, I feel, because lawyers kind of do the work of covering every basis for the company. So, we were discussing with our research team, I believe a week back, saying how even an implication that the company can get insurance if there's a fire, if there's one line there, then that's also a bit of it's an information for you, right? That, hey, these guys are protected by fire, right? Not saying this company, but the other company. Hello, investors. Are you tired of going through endless complex financial reports? Maybe you're sick of all the information overload? Want a faster, easier way to research stock investments? Well, we've got the solution for you. Introducing FIRL Pro. FIRL Pro is your go-to source for concise, easy to understand stock reports. We shortcut your research journey by 90%. Each report is crafted to be straightforward yet informative, taking no more than 15 minutes to read. That's right, just 15 minutes to unlock key insights about stock investments. The program works especially well if you are busy with work, family, and activities. The best part, it's totally risk-free because we offer a hassle-free money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied after purchasing it, just email us here within 10 days of purchase for a full refund. No questions asked. Not sure about the program yet? No problem. You can check out our free sample reports available in the video description or comments below. It's a great way to experience the FIRL Pro advantage firsthand. Get informed with FIRL Pro. So it's important to read, right? The fine print.
Yes. Okay. This is to the risk factor.
Risk.
That's a very long list of risk.
So you see, there's a reason why the risk factor is very long.
Okay. This is finally we're going to the information of the group, of the trust group. Okay. This is the corporate structure. This is basically the diagram.
Which is what you saw earlier on already.
Yes, correct.
So these are their strategy, proactive management. So this is when it becomes very corporate talk, like proactive management. Okay. Capital and risk management. Sharia investment guidelines, distribution policy.
Yeah, so you also can read a little bit, but basically they are trying to explain to you that this is not like a REIT lah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Post IPO restructuring. So what will the share makeup look like after they go for IPO? So here's yet another group structure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what's next. Trust groups, utilization
No,
of
this is nothing
proceeds.
also.
So you see, right, we're already in page number 101 or at least 75, right?
Yes, we're actually just busy scrolling already.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I think it's somewhere around here. Okay, so this is where you can know what is the, I believe the this is the employee, sorry. This is the employee's IPO.
Yeah, so we're not even at the business part.
Okay,
yeah.
Finally, there's some pictures. So this is the highway that they manage. LKSA, GCE, Accolade, and also Silk Highway. Very standard. If you go through all of these roads, you kind of know already what toll is there. And you also know how much they are actually charging for the toll. So, and what's interesting is that they are going to be reducing the toll rate. I think it's starting from last year already. For the next 3 years. But then every 10 years they will actually hike up the toll. So that is something that you need to know lah on this kind of like toll rate. It's after 10 years. And and you can actually do a very quick DCF also if you want to do this kind of like thing. You just need to find what's the number of cars they actually stated over here.
Yeah, so you can also see the numbers they give here, right? The highways generated this amount of revenue from toll collection. They even give you the breakdown. So these are pretty decent. These are very interesting prospectus. Right?
Yes, correct.
It's quite rare.
Yeah. So this is the overview of their trust for the concession. If you want to know more about this highway, the numbers, the cars, you can actually just read.
So we got 5 minutes left. Where shall we go next?
Okay.
That's important.
Okay. I think this is all okay. Okay, so this is another numbers that you need to know. So this government compensation, right? It is when, let's say there's some sort of like toll reduction. That's where the government will come like, hey, since you reduce the toll, we'll give you some compensation.
Yeah.
So that is what's happening. But then foresee in the future that maybe the government compensation won't be as much as it was before. Because of they want to try to reduce the government spending on this one. So
one thing very interesting is we all complain about how toll always annoys us and we have to pay toll and all that. Yeah. But don't you find it fascinating that toll revenue doesn't increase?
Yeah.
Hasn't increased. Right. This one, I don't think this is a full year, right?
Yeah, this is just FPE.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So this one is competitive advantage. Okay, I don't think we should go through.
So that you can see some traffic volume and all that. But yeah, so...
Okay, I think these are not so much already. This one is all basically just explaining to you what is it. It's actually a very simple business model. Only you guys can actually just study what is their major driver and risk so far. But the main thing that you want to know is how does it compare with all of these REITs?
Yes, because even though it's not by law, they will be REIT-like.
Yeah.
That's the key, right?
Yes, correct. So, and for REITs, obviously, how you make money from REITs is basically paying out the dividends, right? So you want to compare what is Prolintas dividend yield compared to this one. So I cheated a little bit already. I kind of know what is the dividend yield. They're going to be paying about 70 million in dividend. Right. That translates about 6.7%.
Yeah, because
dividend yield.
Market cap will be 1.1 billion, right?
Yeah, 1.1 to 1.5. And this is coming from on top of my head. Yeah. But it's about more than 1 billion in market cap.
No. Key thing here is that if the price stays the same, right?
Correct. So assuming it is, I'm going to refresh this just in case if there's any update. Okay, so it doesn't change. So you can see that where did they actually lie?
So they'll be here. They'll be below YTL REIT and above us Capital Land.
Yes, correct. Not too bad. I mean, 6.7% also is higher than EPF.
Yep.
Recent dividend yield, which is about 5.5%. The thing is that whether how sustainable is this 6.7%? Can they like every year pay 70 million out of their cash flow? So far, I think if you are a regular toll user around those mentioned highways, right? Then I think you can kind of like guesstimate how much they will make and how much dividend they will pay out, because they also want to pay dividends to PNB and also EPF because they are the major shareholder of this company.
Right.
Yeah, so they have a lot of major investor that they need to answer to.
And one thing that is quite interesting and worth studying more is if you look at the map that we have, I don't think we have enough time to scroll up. But if you look at the map earlier on that we saw, right?
Yeah.
They tend to be outside. They tend to be outside the city center of Klang Valley.
Yes, correct. So it's at your Rawang is north. North
Yeah, so
then,
there you go. So you see Kajang,
yeah.
Kota Kemuning, Sungai
Buloh,
Rawang.
Yeah.
And then there's that small one between Ampang and Chao Kit, right?
Yeah.
So leaving aside Ampang and Chao Kit, they've already built this highway. They're managing this highway on areas that you would imagine will become more prominent in the future, right? Take for example, Sri Petaling and Bukit Jalil. Back in the day, of course, they don't have highways going through them, but back in the day, Bukit Jalil, what was your perception, right? For me, it was the stadium.
Oh, for me, it was the golf, I think.
Yeah, golf or stadium,
yeah.
like very far away. But today, Bukit Jalil, there's a pavilion there.
Yeah.
I have friends staying around there, and it's really come up in the past 10 to 20 years. So what we are hoping for that could hopefully grow this business more is areas like Sungai Buloh, areas like Kajang, to experience something similar like Sri Petaling and Bukit Jalil, because these areas not as, up and not quite there yet in terms of density.
Yes, exactly.
But Kota Kemuning, definitely it's been climbing up.
Yes. And this is not only the highway that they're going to be managing, because they're going to be like taking in like maybe SUKE highway also. That is part of their main driver. And potentially, if let's say they find out certain highways in ASEAN countries that they think that it's worth investing, they will actually do some M&A or acquisition overseas. That is if they find opportunity. But so far, they have been very conservative. They say they want to be like be safe first. Okay, so that's the timer.
That's the timer.
Yeah,
right.
So that's actually a 50 minutes. It's actually very short only.
Yeah.
It's not even enough to analyze a company.
Let us know if you like this way of doing things. If it's a dumb idea, also let us know. We'll revert to the old ways.
But thankfully, this business is a very simple business model.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really require a lot of things to know lah, since you're already a everyday user of it. Okay, so that's about it for today's video. If you want to know more about FIRL Pro, we actually have this portfolio to show you guys. This is our return, about 50.6%.
Yeah, I think it outperformed EPF in the US stock market also, even if you account for currency depreciation.
Correct, exactly. So what is FIRL Pro is basically we write minimum two reports for you every single month where we share what companies that we think that is interesting, and some of these companies we also personally own them. And we also, if let's say we find it interesting and there's like more good catalysts in the future, we might add it in our FIRL Pro portfolio, and we actually notify this to our members. So whatever things that we buy or sell, we will actually tell them in the group chat lah, which is in the Telegram and Facebook group. But anyways, if you want to know more information for free, we have this FIRL free sample for you to read some of our sample reports. We wrote about Delium and also we wrote about SMRT. So you can check it out. The links will be in the description and comments down below. So that's about it for today's video. See you guys next week.